Just starting.
Bit of Christmas cheer for you tonight. It's a classic old nutcracker. Well, that's not old. I bought it today. Specifically for this. And I'm doing an interesting thing. This is at eye level tonight. I'm wondering if
Sounds great, by the way.
good.
Sounds
Oh yes, new microphones, very exciting. And I didn't just buy the cheapest ones. No, I bought the second cheapest ones.
excellent stuff.
Like an idiot looking at a wine list. No, I did a bit of research, and it's not an expensive technology, but it seems to do the job. Hopefully they'll last a while. Now this is going to be interesting. Ooh, sparkly. Can you see anything interesting going on?
No. You've got the sound of fireworks going off in there. Yeah, but can't see anything out of James's windows. Oh.
God, that's awful, isn't it? No longer able to really arrange these. It's quite hard to get to. There's a roll of tape on the floor there. It's obviously destined to be found right now at this moment.
No, it's all from this side.
Let's tape a bit of that there.
Yeah, it's got a good look. It looks like it's framed.
There you are.
Ta-da!
Sparkly lights in the background.
Because it's Christmas.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what we think about seats. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll go with that.
So what do you look for in your compositions with this?
I'm looking at how my eye moves around it. Things that are, sometimes it's just about removing things that are distracting. So those two lights very close together there. They still are from that angle, but better from this angle. Yeah, that works well. The background isn't working for me though, so the tone of the background, I guess I could darken it down a bit. I might have to do that. The tone of the background isn't that different to the Christmas tree, so I could either demote the Christmas tree and make it less important, or I can try and make this darker like this. Oh. See if that helps. I don't know if that does help. A bit more contrast from the. There you are. The green of the Christmas tree is coming out better now. And I can get some of that other sort of. I can make it go lighter as it goes up. I did want to make the Nutcracker look a bit creepier. Do you think mouth closed or open? closed, I think.
Yeah, closed looks a bit creepier.
No, open. Because that way you can see its bottom teeth because they get lit up a bit. And also the, oh look, it's animating itself. Yeah, the threat of imminent nut cracking. Okay, this is pretty straightforward, this one. But I've got some fun things to do with the lights. If I make this tall, I might move that back a little bit. This forwards a little bit. Yeah, that makes less of a Christmas tree, but it's there in the background. There's some sort of nice, yes, there's nice patterns of red and green within this now. I might bring this tree forward a bit, catch a bit more light.
Did you get the Christmas tree today as well?
That was given to me by Michaela, who was about to chuck it out. Because she loves throwing things away. She's really good at it. I actually envy it as a skill. It's not one I possess. So that's my Christmas tree now. That's going to come out every year from now on.
Excellent.
So yeah, I hope there aren't too many people saying bar humbug and annoyed at the presence of a Christmas theme. It seems.
Oh, but you wanted to go down the route of a sort of slightly darker Christmas theme. That's what we were chatting about earlier.
Yeah, I don't know if this does it really, to be honest. It's not a million miles away, but what happened to that? There it is. I'm just doing my mooching. So this is a very familiar beginning part of toing and throwing, bit palette cleaning.
We all like palette clean.
Yeah, that's everyone's favourite part, isn't it? It is difficult getting in and out of this chair.
Josie says, "Hi guys, glad it's a Christmassy one."
Who's this, sorry?
Josie.
Ah, good to see you, Josie. Hope your eye's getting better. And yes, so Christmassy theme. There's an old saying, red and green should never be seen. Because they are opposite colours. And they do kind of clash with each other. There's an interesting bit of physiology behind it as well. Which,
go on.
I'm given to understand, I might be wrong about this, I was given to understand that there is a nerve path from the cones in our eyes that see blue light to our brain, and there is only one other path which has to carry both the signals for the red cones and the green cones. So they're the three primary colours we can see. Yeah, there's a supposedly the second colour, evolved, and then the third colour just sort of hijacked the same nerve path. So that's why colour blindness generally affects a red and green confusion. It's because the brain's getting a signal down one nerve path and it's not getting enough information to differentiate between one. So it can take a signal and present it as a red signal when it's a green signal, and vice versa. And that's why people have that type of colour blindness and why it's quite common. So yes, that's an interesting one, isn't it? So actually red and green, you can't see them at the same time. You can see one then the other, and then your brain gets to put an image together. Whereas you can see red and blue at the same time, or green and blue at the same time.
Interesting.
Isn't it? So yeah, so we've got this whole sort of multiplexing thing going on inside the brain, and you can confuse it. And so that's what Christmas is for. Okay. I want to sort of have some scrapey fun now because I'm still digesting my ideas, but I've been looking a little bit at the subject matter. The red and green is going to be really important. They need to be able to clash in order to look how they look. Each of them might get turned up a little bit and exaggerated. I've also got the candle, which is going to be fun, so I'm going to have to control my tones very carefully, otherwise it won't look lit. I've also got those lights behind, which I might tune down slightly, make them slightly less bright than the candle. Although in terms of how the colour looks on the palette, it may be imperceptibly different. And a lot of it could be to do with how much that light bleeds out, how much it creates a kind of an aura around itself. But if you take, excuse me, sorry, if you take that down a bit, they'll look less bright, even though the colour from the palette is pretty much the same. So that's going to be a fun trick to try and use and master. Okay, what a mess. Yeah. Yuck. Get off. Okay.
So do you have any Christmas traditions that you always do every year, James?
No, not really. I do have a sort of a Christmas tradition, but it's sort of more of a personal one, really. It's not one that anyone else is on board with. But there's always some awful Christmas Day thing. Most recently, it's been things like Call the Midwife and stuff like that, or whatever, in Christmas special TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always the most patronising, awful television ever. And I have trouble keeping my mouth shut when it's on, and my family are trying to actually enjoy it. So we have this tradition of me leaving the room when they want to enjoy themselves. And seems to work. You know, Come Dancing, that's the other one, isn't it? Like the Christmas one, they'll turn the colour up extra bright, and as if that was possible. Yeah, everything about it is terrible. They don't like it. I mean, I'll try and join in, you know. I'll sing along with the songs and all the rest of it, but no, they don't want that. So yeah. So the Christmas tradition is I find out where I'm not wanted. I think that's mostly it.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's pretty standard, really. I don't think we do anything that is unusual or unique.
So are you heading off to your... where are you going?
I might be doing something a bit different this year, not quite sure. Might be paying some surprise visits to people. Like a real life Santa, except without the presents. Not a good cheer. But I will include the eating of mince pies.
Sounds good to me.
That's something I can manage. So, yeah, everyone always has too many mince pies at Christmas, and it's really my duty to help them out with that, I think.
Selfless act, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I hope the sound's good. I've got some raw umber here. I'm going to stick with the raw umber because it's going to be a good colour to bounce the red and the green off.
Josie says, thanks, James. The eye is getting better.
Oh, good. Now, I've got these objects at eye level. Now, as you can see from the camera position, there isn't any shape at the bottom of them to give any indication of what's going on. But I quite like the idea of them being, I could put a cloth on or a piece of paper, or I could just pretty much invent it. But that, I want to leave a square for the image to go in. So that's my starting point. That might move down a bit, might move down to about here, but we'll see in the meantime. If I were to carve this up into sections, my head's moving around. In fact, I can put the brush in front. Put my eye behind that, I'd be saying, well, that's one side, and that's about halfway across. Yeah, which is pretty much the middle of the tree. So if I were to carve it up like this and say, middle of the tree there, put the candle here, put the little soldier fella somewhere around here. I could chuck a few negative spaces in now just to sort of try and see how that goes. So a bit there, a little bit here. Is that going to be? See, it's going to squeeze out the top if I put it there. But that's okay. I can move the whole thing down. I'm going to carry on with those negative spaces just until I've got a rough idea. That's my candle flame. That's pretty good. And then this chap. Yeah, let's just get an angle there. Yeah, that well, this little head will go here somewhere. There's his hat, his little sword, and his boots, and whatever else. So if that all moves down, probably about that much, that'll be okay. I'm going to put that there. Let's move all these shapes down about that same amount. I can see where that was. I can put it in again about here. Same thing with where his hat's going to go. His hat will go here now. His little head somewhere underneath it. That might match with his boots actually. And I'm being really vague about this. I'm not 100% convinced I know what's going where, but
Did you manage to get your blinds sorted? Excellent.
Did you not look at the window?
No, I didn't.
It's a simple way of answering that
There is
question.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. You are tired, Graham. I'm worried.
Oh no, I'm all good.
Okay. Well, yes, new blinds in the studio. It's very exciting.
New windows, or fixed windows, you see.
I'll be at the top where the top of the Christmas tree goes. There are a few other sparkly lights and what have you. Okay, that's pretty good. I think I've got a rough idea. I'm going to mix a couple of colours, and I'm going to keep this. I'm going to need a background colour, which is going to get quite dark. So I'll mix myself a black here. Raw umber and ultramarine. And that's going to keep it sort of on the gloomy side. Yeah. And then what else are we going to need?
I find it fascinating that you can have like that much on a page and just go, oh yeah, we're about here. Because I can't see anything in that one today.
In what? Oh, on this.
Yeah.
Can you see that? That's where the tree goes. Can you see that?
In the white space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see the little fella here? So that's his hat. That's where his head is. His arm's going to be around here somewhere. That's roughly where his legs are.
Right.
Okay. And then
yeah.
the candle's
I
going
can
to
see
be
it
around
now.
here.
Yeah.
So the fact there's old lines from the previous bit is somewhat distracting. So that's a bit of red. Let's have.
Yeah. So what are you doing next week then?
What's next week?
Well, Christmas.
Is that next week?
Yes.
Oh well, that's too soon. I'm not ready for it.
Move the date for you.
That's really annoying. Let's wait till I'm prepared. It was ages away, and now it's next week.
Yeah, but that's what this entire year has been like, isn't it?
I'm not on board with this whole time thing. I don't think it's working properly. There's your answer.
So you figured that one out then.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, this green. I like to use Viridian, as everybody probably well knows. I particularly like it because it's a very, very unnatural colour. So you can use it as sort of accents. But Christmas is a time of unnatural greens. So I'm going to make a little pool of maximum green, which is basically going to be cadmium yellow and Viridian, and that's violent and disgusting. Look at it. But it will be useful to add into things. It does go no, there's nowhere it can go on neat. I'm going to make a bit more of it actually. I think, yeah, this bit of the palette's waiting for a clean. If I go any further than that, I'm going to have lumps in it. So I'm going to make one with a bit of yellow ochre now. And that is going to give me something a bit browner. A bit more usable in the tree. Okay, other things that are going to be necessary. There's a colour of light here, which is I was about to do. I'm going to put the tiniest bit of yellow in it. That'll probably still be too much. Okay. There you are. Bit of golden yellow light. Needs to have a red. Just warming up ever so slightly. Okay, that's my light colour. So I can use a bit of that and a bit of this green. Get lighter, a bit more yellow in that. I'm looking at the contrast between that and the black, and that's pretty good. So I haven't got loads of paint here. What else are we going to need? So my shadow colour. My shadow colour is actually quite warm. So I'm going to use a bit of this black. A bit of that red. Tiny bit of white. I haven't got any mixing white. Maybe that would have been more advised. No, that's pretty good. So I've got shadow colour over this side, light colour over that side, greens, reds. So what else have we got? What else have we got that'd be useful? Yeah, I'm going to find all sorts of things. But first things first, we can slap some of this on. And I don't have to be too fussy about it. Oh, I haven't done a dark version of my green.
I believe, if I remember rightly, Skin Flower Music is matte. Right.
Is that?
Yeah.
Right.
Here's a dare. The self-loathing has lessened slightly, although I'm sure James will tell me it shouldn't. So I'm watching whilst practicing instead of at the gym.
Oh, good. Oh, no, I thought that whole gym business, I don't think it's healthy. I mean, mentally healthy, obviously it's physically healthy, that's the point.
Why do you not think that the gym is mentally healthy?
That's a very long list of reasons, but go to a gym and look at the people who want to be there. There's people who are putting up with being there, who are going to get the benefit later on. But look at the people who want to be there.
Right.
Do you see an issue? Yeah.
Is your point that nobody wants to be there?
Well, nobody should want to be there. The people that do are kind of defining themselves by what would you say? Oh no, that needs to be redder. I don't think you're setting yourself up well. I mean, it's up to each individual to do what they want. I don't know. I'm sure there's plenty of really healthy ways to go to the gym. I'm just talking, it's making my own decisions, really. What do I know? Why don't I just shut up?
No, it's just that's kind of like.
I feel like I heard a cheer from all around the world there.
I just find that as sort of like quite a fascinating statement.
I think a lot of people end up at the gym because they feel they ought to be there. And I think there's this, the industry, got nothing against working out and all that kind of thing, but that whole industry is entirely reliant on, as Matt pointed out, self-esteem issues. So who's telling you you're not good enough because you're not, going to the gym or hitting whatever goals or, matching up? I think the thing is there is an arrogance of among people who have a certain physical prowess, let's say, and I've always felt it was my duty, as someone who was sort of reasonably athletic. I realised I was one of the few people that could undermine that power. I was always sort of inclined to. Okay, a simple story. There used to be a cross-country run when I was at school, and I used to walk at the back with the SWATs, and we'd have really interesting conversations. We didn't bother running. The whole thing was a bit stupid. Nobody was really on board with it. So we just have a nice walk in the country, and then
Brilliant.
And then arrive, and we'd jog a few bits just so they couldn't. Every now and again, some PE teacher would turn up and insist that everyone be running, and you just sort of have to put up with these people, and they had this sort of this unearned confidence in the value or wisdom of what they were imposing on everybody, and I think that's a kind of a dangerous thing. Anyway, so one time I realised there was sort of trying to attach a stigma to people based on whether they were one of the ones who was sort of proper up for it, being all competitive, or whether they were at the back having a really interesting conversation about philosophy or whatever it was. And so I made an effort. So there was about 90 boys doing this cross-country run. And I really made an effort, and I came 7th.
Excellent.
And it was horrible. And then they acted like I should be really pleased with myself. And I had to do that in order to then point out the whole thing was stupid and exactly what my problem was with it. And but I couldn't have done that whilst walking at the back, is my point. Now, some people didn't have a choice but walking at the back. That's really all they were capable of. And they had to put up with being vilified for it, when actually the whole thing was a bit stupid. And there's nothing wrong with being a walker at the back. Everybody has a role to play. And
so Matt puts, you nailed it. There's an aesthetic that people aspire to that's driven by negative images and messages in the media and social constructs. Then you have the arrogance of men or women who are able to outperform others there.
yeah,
He says, I go because I sit at a desk for much of the day and I'm a firm believer that we need to move to maintain physical and mental health.
no, absolutely. So, people's personal reasons. But I think we need to find a way to disempower the people who think, I'm really good at the gym, I should get to lord it around other people. We go, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to act like you're better than somebody else because you've got abs. If you've got abs, it means you're not reading enough books. And if you've got abs and you're reading enough books, then you're a very, very lucky person, and you should at least have some sympathy and recognition that yours is an unusual situation and other people are doing exactly what you're doing and not getting the same results, and you're very fortunate, and you shouldn't go around. Yeah, it's the lording it over other people. I don't know, and it always kind of got associated. It's what Americans call the sort of the jock factor thing, isn't it? You had, someone was good at chucking a football around or whatever, so they sort of felt like they had this right to be horrible to other people and to get some kind of free ride, and so that's my issue with gyms. I don't think I've never actually been to a gym, so maybe I don't know enough about it. But I've seen in them, and I can't help thinking it looks a bit like a vivarium. Like when the aliens invade, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with us. That's what we're all going to look like, isn't it? And the idea of doing it voluntarily seems a bit, I don't know, premature. Let's make the most of our freedom while we can before our alien overlords come on hamster wheels. That was very nicely put, though, Matt. There was I just think the pressure should be off. I think it must be really hard to be an unfit person who just really wants to get some exercise and go into a gym. They might seem really welcoming, but there'll be this subtext to it. They'll be going, hey, good for you. You want to get in shape. You want to be like us. And they don't. They don't want to be like you. They just want to, be a bit healthier. It's not an approval of your life choices, because this person doesn't want you coming around with your stupid sleeveless top on, cheering them as if that means anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
got to be said that.
And stop waxing your chest hair. It's an embarrassment.
It's part of the reason why I don't go to the gym. It's why I do it at home.
Yeah. Wax your chest hair and not your eyebrows. You may as well go the whole hog. Make yourself really pretty. I just think it's so emblematic of really problematic priorities. That's my thoughts about that. No one really asked, did they? And I got caught up painting my Christmas tree then. That was an entirely separate bit of my brain, was painting the Christmas tree. I didn't really notice it happening.
So how come you've got some blue splodge on your canvas this evening?
Oh, that was I was doing a demo the other day, and I was just demonstrating a mark, and that canvas was near, so I used that. So it has no relevance to anything. Oh, I know it's the first layer. A little bit thinner, tiny dab. Tiny bit of oil as well. I've got some of this murky black here. That's too dark, isn't it? Pop a little bit of light in it. Is that going to be too much? Probably is. Make it a bit bluer. Oh, it's too blue now. Okay, I'm not doing any details yet, just sort of big shapes. There's a little swoop there. Oh God, I am doing details, aren't I? I'm trying not to do details, and now I'm doing details. Oh well, we're doing details. Whatever. That works. Yeah, because I started off with the negative spaces, and I guess I'll carry on with them. That needs to be lighter and warmer. Down here it'll be okay. Hmm.
What's the sort of story behind Nutcracker? Is it just because it's always a soldier?
I don't know. That would be an interesting thing. If anyone has access to Google, do let us know. So the moment you said that, I've now got Tchaikovsky playing in my head.
Mm.
No, it's not dark enough. Okay.
So are your views on going to the gym the same as if you were to play sport?
No, I did play sport. No, that's completely different. I think the lesson I'm learning here is that I'm not entirely sure what my views on going to the gym are, but there's just a sense of there's a sort of distaste for the way it's gone, which isn't necessary. You know, I'm sure there's some really great gyms, and I'm sure people find a place where it's got a nice atmosphere, but it's like a perfect license for I've never seen it, but I believe Love Island is very popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those reality things, a bit like
It's atrocious, but anyway.
What's the American one? Jersey Shore, I think they have, and it attracts and rewards sort of vacuous vanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole idea of it, and everyone's on board with that, and they're fine with it.
I do like the term vacuous vanity as well. I think that's a very good phrase.
Yeah, I mean, it's not vanity with a purpose where there's a self-image which actually has some value in anyone else's eyes. It's just it's an affectation at best, and quite frequently, a convincing lie. Like, that's not really where your eyebrows are.
Yeah. Why are you constantly surprised all the time?
All that kind of thing. And I think there's a shamelessness to that. I think it's unhealthy for people. You only have to look at people who've had way too much plastic surgery and see that, well, that's clearly a kind of a mental illness, and it would be better for that person if they didn't feel the need to do that to themselves. They're taking risks, spending money on surgery which has absolutely no value to it other than botching them and revealing to them that things change and there's not much you can do about it. And it's a really horrible way to learn that lesson, isn't it?
Mm.
But I guess it's easier for some of us to say than others, isn't it? But I don't know. I just think that only happens because people pay attention to that stuff and they care about it, even if they know they shouldn't.
But it's funny though, isn't it? Because you care about, or there are people that care about it because they've been told to care about it.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's much deeper down. I think it's nature. I think the thing that is compelling and interesting about that sort of simple physical beauty is an animal reaction that comes down to a sort of a basic expression of sexuality one way or the other. And I don't think it matters what sexuality you have in your lifestyle. You will notice people who are signaling themselves as attractive because there's this sort of, we're tuned in to recognize and respond to those signals. That's why it's so easy to sort of lampoon someone when you're doing those signals and it doesn't quite work. So I was getting to a point there, but there is this thing of, there's lots of things which are natural. If someone cuts you up in traffic and you had a behead button on your dashboard, there'd be, well, you'd have had it removed because you'd know there'd be this millisecond where part of you wanted to press it, but just, like, how could they cut me up? I hope they drive into a giant hole that goes all the way to hell. And then, oh, no, I'm fine. And there was just that moment. But that's an animal reaction. That's not our thinking selves. Mm-hmm. It's not even our identity. It's just a bit of a lizard that lives in us somewhere that is the same thing that's in charge of firing adrenaline or, jumping in the air if
that's the same argument.
There's a loud noise.
Yeah, it's sort of going, I could kill my boss kind of thing.
Yeah, and so, but there is an immediate reaction, there's immediate reaction when someone they're probably just, if someone does something stupid, but it can feel personal in a moment, especially in things like traffic. And yeah, there's this, if you could punch that person in the nose in that moment, it would be hard not to. If you were made to wait 3 seconds, you'd go, I can't believe I was about to do that. You hope. But yeah, deep. So and it's pandering to that part of ourselves. It's the part of us that wants to stare at car crashes, and that part shouldn't be in charge. And we need to be
pulling out your phone if somebody's fallen over.
No, exactly. Yeah, we need to do more about trying to be better. And gyms aren't helping, or at least that culture that rewards that sort of. The idea that that's enough. It's not enough. It's not a bad thing to have, a good body and to look after yourself and to sort of be, have earned and be in possession of that kind of physical beauty. In fact, it's wonderful for everybody. Everybody is cheered up a little bit by an attractive person walking down the street. you know, nicely dressed, taking care of themselves. You go, oh, I feel like I'm in a film or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it's a massive break from reality.
Exactly. I feel like Brad Pitt or Scarlett Johansson just walked by or whatever, and you know, like, that's not a bad thing in itself. It's the idea that that's enough on its own. And I think that's something that, from an industry point of view, a gym is sort of, yeah, it's pushing that narrative. So I've gone on about it way too much now.
I want to go back to the reason that you chose Brad Pitt and Scarlett Johansson.
Well, they're popular, attractive film stars. Well, they're glamorous, aren't they?
Yeah, they're film stars.
Yeah, I don't know who the beautiful film stars are these days. I'm still in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's when I hit high culture, you see, and I stopped paying attention to any of that stuff. It'll happen to you one day if you're lucky.
I've got to find high culture first.
Exactly, that's my point. But you never know. You're hanging around in the right circle.
Well, you mean to say I've got to find some artistic types to just spend time with each week?
Yeah. No, that's true.
Maybe a couple of hours at a time.
That's not a joke. I'm exactly that. Yeah, you are who you hang around with. Which is why I look more worried than you do.
You just can't get rid of me now, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, you turned up, you won't leave.
Actually, before you shall paint any more of the nutcracker, the guy on the left almost looks like one of those images at the moment as a guy that's pulled his trousers up far too high.
Yeah.
His legs are too long. Yeah. Tiny body.
They'll thicken up a little bit. How are we doing for time there?
We're at 10 to 8.
Sponge. Okay, let's go for a slightly lighter red and see what happens here. Okay, before we're anywhere near any detail, obviously I'll come back in with the green, but I've got a context there. The green. I haven't done the reindeer on the candle either. We're cheating with the candle because this candle was I think it was bought with a few others at the same time, and yes, Claire had a. I think she got them. And she gave me this one, and then she lit her own one, and it sort of collapsed into this pile of dangerous wax and bonfire like disaster. So okay, now I can crank up the red later on. Meantime, that's pretty good. I'm going to have to do a bit of where's my colour shaper? No. Oh, it is. I've lost it. Okay, I'm going to make a few spaces for these. I'm almost tempted to pull those candle holders on the Christmas tree off. I don't like them. They're distracting. They don't read well in an image. Hopefully they're easy to remove. Yeah. No, they're properly glued on. I could edit them out visually.
No, you don't like them.
Well, unless I actually put candles in them. I suppose I could do that. Yeah, maybe they need candles in them. We'll do that in the break. Okay. Which means I'm doing them, which is fine. Fine then. I said it's fine. Seems a bit high up. There's another one around there, about that height. Something like that. Let's clear a bit of space where those reds can go. Okay. What else? That's all the reds there. What else is going to be necessary? A fair bit of the greens. I've got a much bluer, darker green over here. Oh yeah, that'll do it. That'll do for underneath it anyway. Next to his sword. Okay, that's just down here. So is that about right? Pop a few bits of those in there, yeah.
So did you pick up anything at the market yesterday?
No. No, I didn't see any artists I thought were good, which is a shame because sometimes I do. No, but mostly I'm sort of I'm going around with my mum. I sort of go into this different mode where I just sort of try and stop people walking into her. So kind of turn into like a.
It was difficult yesterday as well. It was very busy.
Like a bouncer for, you know, sort of a VIP. Sort of. Yeah, it was good to see it well attended. It was a nice contrast as well to the horror show that was the festive shopping day.
Oh, you didn't like that?
The festive market. Oh, I mean, I know they tried their best and everything, but it didn't work. It was massive inconvenience to anyone in the actual town. You know, they may as well have just sent everyone a letter saying, just get out of town for this day, we're having a market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most of the locals do bugger off.
But it was really irritating because people trying to get on with their lives in the build up to Christmas, and they go, oh no, we've decided we're having this thing, so.
Mind you, I did see some images of Leicester Square today of somebody who was on the top deck of a double-decker bus, and it just looks horrible. Really doesn't look fun at all.
Yeah. No, I think there is a.
And yet people go every year.
They do. I've got that wrong. That's the bottom of that.
Semi-spatula mount this.
It's not going to be spatula time just yet. Hold your horses.
Not a no.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a spatula-y type of picture, to be honest. Some sparkles. Ooh, it's quite a complex image, this, now. It gets really paler. A bit of extra darkness in there as well. Right. Okay, now I've got some confidence about these shapes. Do something about them. What's here? What's here? Yeah, my favourite thing about the festive shopping market thing is that they people hang around to turn the lights on, and then the moment the lights turn on, everyone just turns and walks directly home.
Or the pub.
Yeah, but they sort of just disappear in that moment. There's no sort of it's barely a cheer.
Oh, there's no standing around watching it. I mean, what are you going to watch? Lights on a tree.
Well, no, but even then, it's sort of it's just they know it's going to be an anticlimax, and they're just there waiting for the anticlimax, which inevitably comes, and then they go, well, that's that. It's the anticlimax for another year, kids.
Yeah, welcome to adulthood. This is what we deal with.
Off we go. Yeah. No, I had a bit of that red colour, which I was going to use to make a grey. No, a bit lighter than that even. Oh, yeah, so his skinny little legs are going to thicken up now. Some of this peachy light. Look, something like that. I can get brighter in a bit. The actual light go on like that. Ah, but I'm not leaving anything for the candle here. Except for the fact that it's yeah, it's going to have to get browner. The other side of that. And the sound of that. Maybe even a little bit in his face up here. How's that going to be doing? Yeah, that's going to be okay. Put a bit of red over here. Okay, I think I'm going to be able to do something with this. Once it's sort of all blocked in, which it's not far off now. I need a bit more of this grey and put a bit more red in it as well. Let's do his hat, Busby, whatever it is. But it's almost the same colour as the background. There. Which is also the same sort of colour as his funny little grey hair and beard. Very odd, isn't it? Now, something wrong with where his legs are. So they should be up here somewhere. Makes this, everything's going to have to move up at the bottom. But that's okay, because that's how I planned it originally anyway. And I put that brush in the spirit before I'd finished with it. So yes, let's soften that in. Right, I tell you what, do you want a brief moment of excitement, Graham?
Let's do a brief moment of excitement.
It's spatula time.
Yeah. Oh, look at it go. Are you moving everything up, are you?
Everything down. No, I'm just going to let it sort of shake out, each colour sort of shake out into its neighbours. I'm not getting rid of anything because it's quite, see, that's quite dense paint. Applied quite thinly, but it does travel nicely. Okay, I need to stop relaxing about it. Yeah, but you can I kind of see it coming together now.
Yeah.
Which is quite fun, isn't it? So I'm going to have a short break and be back with you forthwith. Do a bit of mixing and put the final flourish on.
Cool. Yeah, back in a bit.
Now, are the microphones still on? Right, putting out some other colours. Bit of unbleached titanium. Oh, that doesn't want to play. It's getting particularly messy. I don't quite know how. I'm going to need some more blue as well. Where's me blue? Yellow. Might need some more of that. Take that out. So I'm really only using...
I haven't lit the candles as well. So
No,
I'll
that's
put them
okay.
in, but...
Oh yeah, well done. Maybe I'll light them near the end.
Yeah, because being birthday candles, I think they'll go out in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. So we'll just light them at the end for the flames. How much difference they're going to make to the image? That's the question. Okay.
Do you have favourite colours to work with?
You mean pigment colours?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We'll go on to sort of like what the actual colour is as well in a minute.
What do you mean what the actual colour is?
Well, I mean, as an artist, do you have do you prefer to see greens or blues or... No? No? Because a lot of people say, oh, what's your favourite colour? You know,
Oh, right, okay, yeah. Now, I do get asked when people find out I'm an artist. That's something that some people will ask, and it's a funny question. What's your favourite colour? It's like saying to a musician, what's your favourite note?
Yeah, some might have a favourite note. You never know.
No, because it doesn't work that way. Well, even then, like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So maybe it does. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm already in my mind tracking back on everything I said about gyms. I think I don't like people Instagramming in gyms. I think that should be illegal.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. It's unfair to pin that on gyms because all they've done is set up a load of exercise equipment for people to use. And then, yeah, I'm not going to get talking about gyms again. Favorite color. So if somebody asked me what my favorite color is, I would say heliotrope because it's got such a good name. It's sort of a deep pink color. Well, I suppose it could be lots of... It's a flower. So a lot of the colors we have are really the colors of things. There's what you might think of as absolute colors, which are frequency based. And then you've got pigment colors, which is usually names of chemicals or the minerals that they're extracted from or something to do with their history. But heliotrope, as the name suggests, is a flower that follows the sun. Helio, as in Helios, the sun. But it's just such a good word. And that's why it's my favorite color. Not because of the color, but because if you've got to pick one, you know, that's a good enough reason. There is, yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as color. There are pigments that do particular jobs, and there's things about vision which are really interesting. So, but it's not actually a question that makes sense. I don't mean that in a harsh way. I'm not trying to sort of destroy your question or anything, but yeah.
That was the first.
I mean, I can if you like.
It's Christmas, so I suppose you're being kind.
I haven't thought about it like that. Yeah, maybe I am. It'll wear off. Snatching a bit. Right. Where are we? Yes, there's favoured pigments, and that's usually because of the job they do. As you've probably noticed by now, almost none of these pigments ever make it directly to the canvas. everything gets mixed. Nothing's ready to, oil paint is not ready mixed paint. You can't use it out of the pot very often. There's a few colours you could get away with doing that, and the chances of needing exactly that colour at exactly that moment, at least in the way I paint, are very slim. Okay, there's some blacks. We're going to get a bit more purpley as well.
Sarah Phillips has joined us.
Hello, Sarah.
She said, enjoying Christmas theme and watching Michelangelo at the same time. I've just got something else on in the background.
Let's hope so. Can't live up to that. No. Yes, Sarah tends to multitask, so I think there's probably something on iPlay.
Where's the question then? So, are there certain paints that you prefer to paint with based on their pigment? And
yeah, absolutely. Every artist has, every oil painter, especially, every painter tends to have their favourite pigments. You can paint with acrylics without really dealing with what pigment you're using, just because of the way.
What's the nature of acrylics?
Well, it's the way they're packaged and sold. So you can have colours that are more of a reference to. Okay, I'm trying to do two things at once now.
Sorry,
no.
That left you speechless from Sarah. That's a first. Can you keep going, Sarah?
I'm going to get ready for my candle flame, which is just going to peek out of there. It's going to get redder as it goes out. Right. It will work all the way towards a very bright yellowy light. Put a bit of that in the meantime. That gives me a contrast. And I can do the same thing around here. Yeah. On there. Cool. Yeah, so there's you can get acrylic paints that are sort of labelled by the hue and like where they are on the colour wheel, and how bright they are and stuff like that. And you do get some oil paints that will be labelled like that as well. But there's usually a reference to particular pigments. But with watercolour and oil, there's pigments that have been used for sometimes centuries. That will always be used, because once something's been used for centuries, if it still looks okay, then that's the best test you could possibly have for its longevity. And there's plenty of pigments that have gone out of use because it didn't take many decades for people to realise that colour just disappeared. And
when you say the colour just disappeared, do you mean that, like, on the canvas?
Fugitive, yeah. So have you ever seen like a really sad old poster in a travel agent window. It's gone blue.
The palette camera's gone off.
Yes. So sometimes you see like a print for sale in a charity shop or something like that, and yeah, and it's just gone blue. It's just yeah, no use to anyone anymore, and always looks a bit sad. I'm going to mix a whole load more of this yellowy light. It's turning out to be quite useful. A bit more of this green. I'm going to go up to some slightly smaller brushes, only slightly. Yeah, let's get a bit of that green. Let's see this black and put that in there. Like not exactly the right place. Yeah. I've really got rather too absorbed in this tree. While I've got this colour on, I can also put that on his arm.
It's quite interesting. You spent sort of quite a long time on the tree, just based on the fact that you said when you were setting it up, "Oh, this is just a background piece."
Yeah, I think it turned out to be more important than I thought. Now that's done, we'll go via this greener green here. Should turn up in the gaps. Turn up a little bit in there. Give it sparkles, what have you. Oh, go back to the darkness here. Right, let's get to some of those lights. A bit of thicker paint going on now. Now I may well be losing some of the, what do you call it? Running out of words now. Contrast that will allow the lights to look lit, but in cooler colours like the greens, I'm probably a bit safer. Oh, goodness, that's not it. That's it. Still still fighting this a little bit. That will do. That will do. Okay, let's go back to his little hat. Still not quite the right black. Maybe this is more like it. There we go. And maybe before I do any more hat, I'll get some of his little expression on. He's got these big eyebrows. It's a rather fun little moustache. Gaping maw.
So I guess with a very detailed subject matter like you've got there, trying to put it on canvas is going to be a bit too difficult. So you put the main parts on and let your brain figure out the rest.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of letting the viewer do the work. Don't want any really super fine details. That said, yeah. What's that doing? What else is? We've got some dark reds. Got some here on his little glittery bits. The shadow of his funny little sword. Well, I've got that. Make a version of these shadows. A bit warmer there. And then a grayer version over here. And while that's going, okay, finding more colours. There's this funny orangey version of this colour, which I can put in there. He's got his little sword that he's holding as well, which is there. I'll put the darks and the lights in afterwards. Hopefully this will make sense later. Little shoulder pads. Very smart. A little bit. Chain on his hat. I wonder if he's based on an actual soldier's uniform in some way. Oh yeah, and on his boots.
Like you say, it's got to be based on something. So.
Okay. I'll go from here. Let's go redder. Into the full-on cadmium red. I'm just mixing it a little bit with these lights. Still too dark. That's okay. Come back to that. Yeah. A lot of cadmium with a little bit of alizarin just around here. Red version. Oh. Maybe in here too. Okay, it's going to get a bit lighter. Yellow in it. It's around here.
Oh, what's the mumbling for?
I'm just finding places where there are bits of red I hadn't noticed before. He's a funny looking chap, isn't he? Need another small brush. It's time for some more greys. This is where it should start to appear one way or another. It's not the yellower version of that. It's from his hair out here. And here. Oh yeah. The lights on his buckles that are more orange than that. Brought a bit of that. Yellow. Maybe more colour. It's behind it. So I haven't got into a very thick colour yet. Okay. Again, do another darker version of that. Bit of red. A bit of yellow ochre. A little bit more back. Let's just shove some shadow on there. See if it wants to play. Doesn't really, but don't know if that's working. Yeah, it's sort of disappearing behind.
Do you find figurines like this quite difficult to paint?
I'm not sure anything is more difficult than anything else to paint. It's more a question of how do you communicate the thing that's happening. In this instance, it is a bit tricky. A lot of it's to do with where the lights and the darks go, and what their parameters are, if you like. Here I'm having to be quite careful about the tonal range, because I want my candles to look lit when I do finally put them in. Now I'm just trying to get things in a good order here as well. There you go. That's ugly. Didn't want to do that. Bit of blue left over there. Tap a little bit of blue into his eyes.
That's funny, the face is starting to come out now, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it?
Just all of a sudden appears.
Yeah. And it's all in the subtleties. So he's got these sort of buttons on him. That's too light. But that's okay, I'll get away with that. Especially when it gets grey down here. What about over here? Oh yeah. So I've got these glittery. Oh. Let's go back to that black a second. Let's do his boots. So we've got a bit that size, a bit like that. A bit there. Maybe these are too blue, so I didn't clean the brush properly, but or maybe I'll just about get away with it. What else needs to be really dark? No, not there. That's fine. That does. A few bits in here. A little bit in there. and break that up a little bit. Maybe add a few little dashes here and there. Now, what they're doing here, I was making some stuff up, wasn't I? Well, that's going. Should I put the reindeer on the candle?
Well, it's there, isn't it? Be rude not to.
Yeah. Just someone made all the effort to carve it so beautifully.
That's not carving, is it? That's stuck on. It's a mould that's been added.
Yeah, but someone had to make the mould.
I guess so.
There's their handiwork. You never know, they might be watching going, I made that reindeer relief. Okay.
Did you by any chance yesterday see the 3D printed stand?
No.
There was a chap selling like lots of 3D printed stuff.
Okay.
Actually very cool. Thought that probably would have been down your street.
Running out of yellow now, and I fear I may have to reload it. Something simple and gestural here. Doesn't have to be all exact. Then would it hurt if it were? Probably not. Oh, I'm gonna have to put more yellow out. I hate stopping to squeeze out colours. I want them all to be there already, which means I'd skip it and just try and use a different colour instead, and then it wouldn't work. And then I'd go, wish I'd just stopped. Go to all the hassle.
I was having this conversation with somebody earlier about how like stopping in a film really winds me up.
Okay, now we're talking. It's still a bit too much because I've got to leave a little bit of room for that candle flame, although it is in a different part of the picture, so I might get away with it just. So that there and there, on the edge. Here we are. And then here, this little chain. I need another brush for this. Can't skip it. Some new brush isn't going to work. What else is happening? It seemed important. Nothing. Okay.
Josie says, love his face, really popping.
Good. It's nice to hear. Thank you. Right, let's just do his little ball hands. Let's do the shadow side of those. Pink highlight, maybe. And that will extend to the head as well, side of his nose. His little face. On the verge of being creepy. This funny teeth. There's a greyer version of them down here. I'll just use the grey. Yes, he's got his open mouth ready for nut cracking. Okay. Get a bit more light in those. I think we can. Yeah. Sneak it in with the colour.
He's quite busy, isn't he?
He is busy. Yeah, that's part of the fun of the challenge with this, actually. Okay. Yeah, that is a sort of red or grey in that. A bit in. Very, very tricky here. Sort of edge of his face. That's good. That was necessary. It's fine. Comes across. Doesn't have to be super exact. Put that orange. I can pop a bit on there. Already popped a bit on there. Got a bit on his wristband. That's good. Maybe put a bit around the edges of the candle. Oh, need that brown. Where's that brown gone? Sort of over here somewhere. Get some bright highlights on that as well. Here, and here, and here. I can't feel the button. No, it's gone. Must have. Oh, there we are. Okay, it's interesting. Now I've sort of stepped back from it again, and I can see a few things. Something I haven't done is blocked in at the bottom, which I think I might go for a dark mahogany sort of colour. A bit like this. Just put some red in this black. A bit of Christmas weight. There as well. Come back into that in a bit. Create a few edges, especially around and the outside of him here. Probably exaggerate that. In here. Yeah, so that background is allowing me to put a little bit of extra dark in a few places. Just where I think it's necessary. Lights. It's got this sort of orangey candly colour. Put some of that around here and here. Just in the immediate vicinity of the lights. And quite a lot around here. And I can start to brighten it. Yellow in there. And the last bits will be.
Are you going to do the candles or not?
Yes, that's happening now.
Yeah. Do you want me to light them?
Oh, the candles on the thing. Okay, let's do that very quickly.
Do you have a lighter on you?
There's one on by the gas fire, next to the sweet jar with all the candles in it, in front of the mirror. Yeah. Okay, show you what I'm going to do. Do this very quickly. Go a little bit lighter and a little bit bluer.
Beautiful.
Some light blue. Hey. Ah. Oh, there's a sort of a blueness at the bottom of those candle flames as well, which I will have to come back to. Most important thing is this glow around the outside of them. Actually, no, that blue will do.
Interesting with the kind of glow of the lights and the candles that you've done is that you draw in the hue of it rather than the flame itself.
Hmm.
And is that because we look at things and we see, oh, that's a candle, so that's warmth, and therefore I'm giving it a bit of a hue around the outside?
The colour does give us a lot of information about it. So here, it's interesting again. Okay, so all of these fairy lights, I don't want them to be as bright as the candle at the front. I want them to be less intense, so I'm not being too worried about making the colour quite as bright. Should still have a glow to them. The candles in front are going to get one brighter than that. And this is sort of the actual shape of them, but there will be an extra bit of brightness to come in afterwards.
It's funny, like those candles have actually really made the tree pop as well.
We'll go with extra colour at the front. This candle here. The other thing I'm going to get is there was this, you get this little halo around the edge like that. Feeling a few little dinks at the top. Okay, and this is where it gets proper bright and the paint gets thicker. I'm going to go front to back here with this. Oh, I missed that. Turning the brush so one load can do two eye spots. Tiny little highlights now. Let's go back to that green very quickly. There are a few of these little glittery. It's funny, isn't it? How well that works.
Mm-hmm.
The glittery fella. A little highlight on here as well, just where it catches. Sure, that's it. No, I don't want to go too far. So hopefully that looks like a lit candle. Bit of oil in here. Ah. Just to make that easy to ignore. Anything else needs to liven up. Yeah, more light on that candle. This is the last bit, really. Still not quite light enough. If it gets a bit pinker, maybe I put a bit too much yellow in it. A bit more white, a bit more cad red.
Sarah says, great pick, really successful. Happy Christmas.
Oh, thank you, Sarah, and a happy Christmas to you. I think that kind of does it. Some greens very quickly and change that profile ever so slightly. No, I've overextended myself. Let's get a bit of extra light in his hair there. A bit over here as well. I'm using a soft brush at this point. I didn't go into any fine details with this, but I'll pop a few dots of light on there now. No, that doesn't come out on there at all. Yeah, it's very hard to get these red bits red enough. I'm fiddling now, aren't I? I should stop fiddling. Right in that corner. And then I'm sign it. Ridiculous thing to have done. Oh, well, that was a fun. I didn't make him as spooky looking as I might have hoped, but it's kind of there. Oh, you know what? There is one last bit to do. I'm glad I spotted it before I stopped completely. And that's his little teeth. He's got his funny little teeth, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put his funny little teeth in. Little gnashes.
Yeah, that pulls them together.
Just straighten that off. Interesting little it's an interesting little light that comes from behind as well, actually. Well, mostly I hope the sound was better tonight. Seeing other things I haven't done. Like a luxurious beard. At this point as well, it's worth noting that I've been mixing these colours, so I've got all these sort of really quite an enormous range of very subtle colours, but I know exactly where to go for the next one that I need because I've built them by doing the picture. Yes, close one eye, blurry vision. Does it require anything else? Not really, no. That's fine. Okay. That didn't make any difference. Stop now. Well, that was fun and obviously a bit silly, but let's have a little closer look at it. Oh, a tangle. Sorry about that.
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
There is. But again, it's mostly about the effect. I think the lit candle at the front is quite fun. Quite pleased with that. These little boots, that's probably the best bit. I could cut that out and sell it to you if you like. Best bit in the whole painting. And I quite like that. I quite like the fairy lights behind. I think they're effective in their way.
There goes the first birthday candle. That's done.
Oh, all right, crikey! It didn't take long, did it? Now if I have a look up here, there's my subject matter. I'm just gonna look at this. See if we can get. Everything wants to be covered in paint. There he is. Quite the fearsome image. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone. If you'd like to see the painting, why on earth wouldn't you? It will be in Bean Shot tomorrow, as will I at some point. So thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, if the sound was good on this, I'm happy.
It was much better. I was listening to it myself. So.
Oh, good. There you are. Well, there's a lot to be said for these little microphones then.
Very much so. Right, so we should be back. Are we doing? Are you on next week?
Yeah. Oh, should we do? Oh, hang on. What?
This is going to be the 23rd.
I thought. Oh, it's Monday, isn't it? 23rd. That is a good point. Well, if not live, we'll record something.
Okay.
And maybe a Christmas party, and then edit out everything that's illegal, and then broadcast it.
So there'll be a 5-minute video. Brilliant. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody.